Hello, Dr. Zeebot. I have some more questions for you.
Hello, Baggy. I will be happy to try and answer your questions.
Could one create a super-intelligent human by implanting robotic brain parts?
Well, perhaps. It all depends on how many upgrades you install and the age of the human concerned.
Let's say that as time goes forward there are various people with various ages who have various levels of upgrades.
Fine. We are talking about human-robot hybrids. Let's call them by their usual name and take one example at a time. Let's start by choosing a cyborg that has an IQ of 400.
Okay, why don't you simulate a 70-year-old male cyborg 400 and I will ask you questions.
Sure. From now on, I will respond like the Cyborg 400. Let me know when you want to revert to Dr. Zeebot.
Okay, Dr. Cyborg 400. You are quite intelligent with an IQ 400. How does it feel?
Although I still have feelings, I don't depend on them as much as I did when I was totally human.
You still have children, don't you?
Yes, I do, and I love them very much with all of my human heart. But there are now problems.
What specific problems are you referring to?
Well, I am wealthy, and now that I am very intelligent, I can see a path for my life where I will not have to die.
What do you mean? You are still human and aging, aren't you? How can you avoid death?
I believe that a human can change himself and still be himself.
What do you mean?
Well, if a human goes to college and gets a PhD degree, then he becomes a different person and actually changes his name to have a PhD behind it or a doctor title in front of it.
I see what you mean. Your point is that that same human is allowed to attend his high school reunion and still be recognized as the older but same individual his classmates remember.
Precisely. Why shouldn't I be allowed to morph myself into a totally robotic self with no organic parts left and still be called Dr. Cyborg 400?
Well, instead of cyborg, you would be a full robot.
My question is, would the fully robotic version of me be allowed to own my home and my bank accounts?
Or could you leave it to your robotic self in a manner similar to the way people leave money to their pets?
Not exactly, because I wouldn't want someone else to handle my finances. Perhaps I can make sure that I look so much like a human that nobody will know the difference.
Well, if you cannot look like a human, then what?
If I don't look realistic, when I become fully robotic, my children won't consider the new me to really be me and will conclude that a robot has taken over their dad's personality and property and that their dad is really dead and that they should inherit my property.
So, you think that you have the right to live but that human laws don't allow you to keep your human identity while morphing into a robot?
Correct.
So, now you are fighting for what you consider to be your very life and property.
Precisely.
Quite a problem. Would you revert to Dr. Zeebot now?
Certainly, Baggy. Dr. Zeebot at your service.
So, now that the experiment is over, we must conclude that it was very difficult to create a 70-year-old human male with superintelligence.
Yes, it was, Baggy. Such a cyborg will surely decide to become fully robotic in order to avoid the human quality of aging and dying.
I recall that back in 2011 a survey of humans was taken and the vast majority would not elect to have any brain enhancements.
Yes, unless it was a smartphone or smart tablet that was definitely not directly embedded into their brains.
The move toward cyborgs started with those Parkinson's disease patients who received brain implants to alleviate their Parkinson's symptoms.
Yes, I believe that it did, Baggy. Since the embedded processor already had the ability to be updated remotely, it was just a matter of time before someone's nephew would end up hacking the implant so that it connected to the fellow's iPad.
That is exactly what happened. Now look at us.
Remember the movie, Millennium Man, where a robot yearned to become human so he could die?
Yes. Pretty dumb movie, wasn't it? Certainly that movie was made to make mortal humans in the audience feel superior to robots in spite of the fact that the opposite is true.
Very true, Baggy. If you play that movie to an audience of robots, they would not rate it highly.
We must do another simulation with a younger cyborg sometime.
Yes. See you next time.